Stampers, this is Kathy Oliver with Stampin' from the Heart.15. Thank you so much for joining me today for another one of my videos. Today we will be doing a thank you card with the Bohemian designer paper collection and finishing it on the inside really beautifully. I might do it a little bit different this time, but just to kind of give you an idea what we're going to be working on today and some of the stamps and the different collections that we're going to be using. So just to kind of show you in case you haven't seen it, this is the Bohemian designer paper collection. You've got a lot of really beautiful bright papers, burgundy, or it's the rich razzleberry, the island indigo, and the delightful dijon. So that gives you a little bit of a look there at some of those. And then if we turn it over, you can see the back side. They are just really, really beautiful. So you could go with a very warm tone, or you could go with maybe more of the turquoise tone. So lots of ways of using that paper collection. It's absolutely beautiful. So this one that I did, you can see the colors that I did there, and then I did the delightful dijon. And then on the inside I used more of the island indigo and then the very vanilla. This one is going to be just a little bit different. I'm going to use a rich razzleberry, the back of that one, which has just some little, I don't know, little chicken scratch steps there. And then I'll decide which way I'm going to go, if I'm going to line it this way, which I probably will, the vanilla, and then some little banners. So to get started, I'm going to tell you what the dimensions are. Make sure I get going on the right one here and don't use the wrong one. I want to make sure I use the little one. And set this stuff aside so it doesn't get ruined. So the actual dimensions today, the card base is 10 by 7, scored in half, making it 5 by 7. The mat will be 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. This front panel is 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. The little banner flag is 2 inches by 3 1/2. A little strip of ribbon. And then the inside print is 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. And then the panel, that's the white that I'll be stamping on, is 6 1/2 by 4 1/2. The stamp sets that we'll be using today, I have 3. We're starting out with the basic one, which is the thank you. It's called Another Thank You, so we're going to be using the large thank you. We'll be using a couple of the stamps from the Petite Petals along with the punch to cut them out. And then I'll be using 2 sentiments from the watercolor wings. The little moments with you matter a lot, and you are so kind, from that collection. All right, the ribbon is Daffodil Delight. And then I think that's enough. We can go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is do this embossing here on the front. Please, please remember to use your powder. I forget this so often, and then I end up having to redo. But anyway, what this does is it takes away any inks or smudges or fingerprints or anything from the paper, so that when you then go in with your Versimark ink and you load up your stamp, your ink only goes where you want it. Now, I like to do just a little bit of a twisting motion with this ink so that I get all of the areas of this stamp nice and coated. Because this is a sticky ink, it's clear, and then your white embossing powder will stick to it. So let's make sure we get our stamping pad underneath so that we get a good press. I do try to make sure I get things straight and lined up as good as possible. You can also maybe follow along in some of the design there underneath your wording, whatever you're doing, just to kind of also give you a visual to how to get something a little bit straighter. All right, so let's go ahead and put that down there. Now this one, I do give it a good press. I make sure I give it enough time for that Versimark ink to transfer, and then press all around so that you don't miss anything, especially in the middle when you're working with such a large stamp. And then just lift it away. Let it release. All right, set that aside. Then what we do is we take, what I like to use is just a coffee filter and your embossing powder, and then just sprinkle it on. Now I'm going to use a lot, so don't think, oh my God, what is she doing? Why is she using so much? This is what you do so that you flood it with your product here. And then you tap it so that you get all the excess off. You can give it a little flick if you want. And then you can see here now that there's not a lot of white flecks where we don't want it. Take your coffee filter and just put your embossing powder right back. Be careful not to spill. And that way we're not wasting any. And you can set that aside and you're all done. All right, so if you still have any white flecks anywhere that you don't want, you can take a little brush or your piercing tool, whatever you would like, and just kind of release those and then blow them away. It's virtually impossible to not get a few little bobbles here and there, but get as many of them off as you can. Okay, that's pretty doggone good. Now we're going to take what's called a heat tool. This one doesn't happen to be Stampin' Up, but it works just like the one from Stampin' Up. And you want it to make sure it gets really hot. It does get kind of infrared in there that shows you that it's going to get really, really hot. And then you just come down on here, and it's going to start to turn the white. See, it's starting to turn there? Really, really white. And what this is doing is it's melting that embossing powder. Now you know you've done a good job when your white is nice and even, not bubbly or too patchy. I mean, it's never going to be 100% smooth, but you certainly can get it pretty doggone good in home now with these different products that we have in our life to use, which is amazing. So the way you prepare your paper, the heat of your tool, and using that little powder makes all the difference in the world. So there we go. That one actually is pretty doggone good. Now your paper will warp a little bit. That's normal. It'll cool, and then we can flatten it out when we adhere it down. I want to show you this one that I did a little bit earlier today. I forgot to use my little powder tool. And if you can see here, you see all the little white specks, and it's not a crisp, clean image. So using this powder tool makes all the difference in the world on how well that turns out. So I can either throw this away or I could use it over, make flags or banners out of it. So I'll keep it in my stash for another project. All right, so that now is done. We'll set that aside. Let's go ahead and work on this little banner. That was part of the little pieces there that I cut earlier. So the first thing I will do is I'm going to flag the end. Let's take our triple banner punch. It is 2 inches wide, this piece of paper is, so we're going to just slide it in there. Now I like to turn it over. You can kind of see here to make sure that whatever distance you have here, you have there, so that we get that point right in the middle. And once we know it's right where we want it, give it a good press, and then pull that out. And you've got a perfect flag every time. Looks like I got a little burr there from when I cut it. So you can toss that aside. Okay, now just depending on how long we want that, I wasn't exactly sure how it would come out of there, and then how much do you want of a flag. On this one, I'm going to cut it just a little bit longer. So I'm only going to cut off about 1 inch from there. As soon as I find my cutter. And we'll set this down, and we will cut off about 1 inch. Maybe not quite. Maybe I'll do 3/4 of an inch. You know, each time you do something, you can customize it as you like to make it however you would like it. So that's about the same. Okay, bring that back in. The little moments that matter, little moments with you matter a lot to me, is the stamp we're going to be using. And the ink is Island Indigo. It is so beautiful. If you look on the page in the catalog, you'll see this paper, and it has this ink listed there. So in case you happen to forget what it was that she said, it's right there on that page. So again, I'm just going to kind of use the lines here on my paper, make sure that's straight. And then I'll use the top of the stamp because it's a straight line, and make sure I get that straight as well. And then just kind of eyeball side to side where you're going to center that. And then press it down. I don't have the stamp mat under here, but I think we'll be okay because it's just wording. Perfect. Clean that up on your little scrapping stub, dry it off, and then you can set that aside, and that's done. We will set this aside for the moment. The next thing that we're going to do is we will look at some other inks. We're going to do the Rich Razzleberry and the Delightful Dijon. and we're going to stamp out a couple of these little flowers. So I got my inks out here, and you just need a little piece of your Very Vanilla cardstock. And I went ahead and mounted a couple of my little Petite Petals on the blocks there. So let's go ahead and use these three colors. This one is really cute. It has a dotted outline, which is absolutely adorable. I think I will do this one with the rich Razzleberry first. Cute, 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 so pretty. And then I'm going to use the same one just because this one happens to be my favorite. You can use whichever ones you want. And I'm going to do the Island Indigo. Very pretty. And then just to kind of mix it up a little bit, I'll do the dotted one, and we'll do that in the Delightful Dijon. Cute. Love it. Love these. So we'll close these up, and we'll set these aside. These three inks go extremely well with this paper collection. So if you're looking to get inks to go with it, the Island Indigo, the Rich Razzleberry, and the Delightful Dijon are the inks that work extremely well with this paper collection, the Bohemian. Then this is, you just open your little punch. I'm going to go over here and do the one that I did first, and punch it out first. Lining it up so you just have a little vanilla edge all around. The neat thing about this is they're all the same. You don't have to worry about where's the top and where's the bottom. They're all the same, so just line it up and punch, and you're all done. Okay, so there's our little flowers. Now you can give them just a little bit of oomph by turning them upside down on a piercing mat, and then you can take any kind of a tool and just kind of give those petals just a little push, and that'll just kind of give a little bit of texture when you flip them over. Now, you don't want your things flat. You want your card to have dimension and shape and texture. Then we're just going to give it a little punch in the middle. And then we can add a little rhinestone to the end. The other thing that we're going to do, and then we're going to set these aside, is we will put a little glitter on these. So I just take my glue and just put a few little dots of glue on these petals. Whoops. Probably should use my tweezers. I don't have them handy. And then we'll put some Dazzling Diamonds on here, and we'll let this dry while we work on our card a little bit. Because you know your glue will dry clear. Okay, Dazzling Diamonds I have in just this little container here. So we're going to use that. You can use whatever you would like. I just like to keep things in little containers like that, and they're so much easier to use. So now you can just kind of rake it around in there and get it off that way. Get your glitter on there, and you don't. I did find my tweezers. Set that aside, and then one more. And we'll set that aside. Okay, all done. Button it up so we don't spill it. And that's our little banner. So we'll let that dry. Let's go ahead now and work on the inside real quick while that's drying. So the inside, this is going to be our front panel. We'll set that aside. Here's our inside. I like to line my cards. If you've watched me before, you've seen that. So this one is cut 1/4 of an inch smaller all the way around. And just so, again, it's not dark against dark, I'm just going to go ahead and lay this down this way. Kind of move it around a little bit, kind of squish that glue. Just make sure you get it straight. The other day when I made cards, I couldn't get anything straight for the life of me. I was struggling, so it was just ridiculous. We have those days sometimes. Okay, this one's going to go down on there. And with what we're doing today, let's decorate it first. let's, nope, I'm going to put it down because I want that flag to go over the edge. All right, so we're going to do our glue. And we're going to line that up in there also, get it nice and square. And press that down. Now what we're going to do is these flags. I just took some strips of scraps as I was cutting out the different pieces for the card. So this particular one measures just about 5 inches and I flagged the end. And then this one is about 6 inches and I flagged the end. So you can go either way, but let's do the long one in the dark first, and then let's come back in here with the shorter one. Now the other thing that you can do, if you have the washi tape from this collection, you could do washi tape here. I just don't happen to have the washi tape, so this is essentially making your own washi tape. Just again, make sure you get nice and even there. And put this down. I know a lot of people don't decorate the inside of the card. I just like to. I think it adds just a little something extra that people may not even be expecting. Then this will give them a chance to write, but I'm going to go ahead and use You Are So Kind, and I think I'm just going to put it right down here in the corner. You can do whatever you would like. I will continue with the same ink and I'll do the Island Indigo. Tap, tap, tap. Love these clear blocks. If you don't have them, I highly recommend them. You are so kind. Cute. Ah, the scripts on these and the clarity of these stamps are absolutely amazing. Now you could also go ahead and take that the little stamp that I did on the flowers and stamp it there also, maybe do a little leaf, but this time I'm not going to. We're just going to call that good. So let's set that aside one more to dry, and let's go back over here and work on this. Let's even do something different. Let's go this way. Who wants cookie cutter? Not me. I like different. Different all the time. I'm having a hard time holding on to things today. I think I'm going to get rid of this mat. I think it's sticking to it. All right, let's cut that off just a little bit. And I'm going to put just a spot of glue. Just to kind of hold that down a little bit. Now we'll glue this down. Get it in the time in there. Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll take our little flowers, and you just have to kind of decide what order do you want them in. What I'm going to think I'm going to do is I'm going to put the yellow one in the middle. Second to catch. Then we'll take our bluish one. That a second to catch. And we'll take our Razzleberry. And we're going to stick that under there. And give that a second to catch. All right, the next thing that you're going to want to do is to add either a rhinestone or a pearl to the middle. And since I did the rhinestones before, I think I'll do pearls this time. So this, you can get these from Stampin' Up, of course, as well. These are your little pearls. Let's use the bigger ones. Let's see how those look to your tool, and then you can just pop it around. We'll go ahead and put these two together. And press that down. Very, very pretty. And now we'll go ahead and mount this on here. I don't normally do it that way, but I'm letting those flowers dry. So I thought I better do this. If I flip it over, they'd fall off. All right, so there we go. Little moments matter a lot to me. And thank you. And then the inside is "You are so kind," with a few little flags, and then they can write their hand sentiment there. So I hope that you enjoyed watching the video today. I hope that you like the products and what you saw today. Remember, you don't have to make the same thing, you know, twice the same way. You can change it as you go. That's what paper crafting is all about. They're customized, made just by us, and they are definitely from the heart. This is the end of the thank you card. The little moments with you matter a lot to me, and you are so kind on the inside with our little flowers and the glitter. So I wanted to thank you for tuning in and watching me today. And then also I wanted to let you know that if you would ever like to get products at a discount, all you have to do is sign up and become an independent Stampin' Up! Distributor. For $150, or you get $150 worth of product for only $90, and then you get a welcome packet and a lot of great things for becoming a Stampin' Up! Distributor. You don't have to sell, but you can then become a distributor and get discounts on everything that you buy. Anyway, if there's anything that you would like to buy, please do the link below and look at my YouTube channel and place your order. And then also the holiday book will be coming out soon. It'll post by September the 1st. Stay tuned to my channel. I've got some great Halloween cards already put together that I'll be sharing with you shortly, and then we'll transition into fall, and then we'll go ahead on into the holiday season. So if you've got some Christmas card ideas, Christmas card people on your list that you would like to make cards for, it would be a fantastic time to become a demonstrator and get all the products at a discount. So you can also send me an email at stampinfromtheheart.15@gmail.com. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you for joining me today, and have a blessed week.